Hey guys, Shine Midget here. So I'm going to be doing a quick little video on knives. I typically don't talk about knives, but I use one every day for work, so I might as well talk about them. I did do a review on the Lightning Elite about 2 years ago now, maybe close to 3, and there's tons of videos on those already. So I decided I'm going to do a review on the Boker USB knife, OTF, switchblade, whatever you want to call it. And I have some other knives here basically to compare it to in terms of size and the action, quality, price, etc. So let's start off with the Lightning Elites. That's what I've done. I did a video on, and I've owned quite a few of them. So this one right here is the original Lightning. This is the Lightning Elite. The original Lightnings are supposedly made in Taiwan. These are made in China. So you're looking at about 30 bucks a piece for either one of these. They are 440 steel for the blade, which is really cheap. Not a serious use knife. They're cool to actuate. They're cheap, so you can just get one just to kind of mess around with at the house kind of thing, but not a serious use knife. So this one I used for about a year. I do HVAC, so just at work. Typically, I'll just cut like foam off of line sets, tape, various tape, whether it's, foil tape, electrical tape, or like tape on boxes, your typical clear tape. Other than that, I don't really use these. I don't use my knife to cut zip ties because I use dikes typically to cut zip ties. So, but I do carry one with me every day, again, for work. So this one I used for about a year, and I mean, for the price, it's not bad. The blade is cheap as hell, and it really doesn't sharpen that great. The point is horrible. So I did a lot of, I was using this a lot for cutting insulation as well, and I was actually doing it on concrete. Okay, so that destroyed the tip. But you see, this one's a brand new Lightning. This is the Elite, but they use the same blade. You can tell it's just a slightly different, like this has a scallop in the middle. I guess you could call it a groove. But they're both not pointed very much at all in terms of like the tip. Okay, this one is even worse because I was cutting, again, on concrete. So, yeah, really not great knives for, I guess, daily use, but good as just a novelty, kind of just to have lying around. This one I have never used. It's in gray. Again, it's the Lightning Elite. This one I keep in my medical kit on my plate carrier. So, shit hits the fan. This is going to be on my plate carrier in my medical bag. Most likely I will also have my Microtech with me because I just got that. So that's like a serious use knife. But I've just put this in a year ago in my plate carrier medical kit, just if I need to cut pants off or shirt or whatever to put a tourniquet or, gauze or whatever. So that one is kind of not for use, but I do have it as a spare. This one I keep in my car because it has a glass breaker on it. This one, I'm not sure if this is a reproduction of one of the new Microtechs. They have, what do they call it, an Ultratech? No, it's not the Ultratech. It's another version they came out with not too long ago. I think this is a clone of that. This one was like 40 bucks. It also uses a 440 steel blade. It's double-sided. Can you tell I like the double-sided ones? All of mine are, except for this one. And 440 steel. Never really used it to cut much of anything. This does have a better point on it. A much better point when compared to this. I don't know if I can get both of them in focus, but a much better point. Again, this one, I was cutting insulation on concrete, so that's why it's so dull. But this one I just keep in my car. It's got a glass breaker, so if I needed to break glass for whatever reason. This one's hefty, too. This is like 3 times the weight of one of these. It is kind of like pot metal, I think. It's just like kind of cheap, crappy metal, but it's very hefty. And I've never had this one fail. I've actuated it many, many times, never had it fail. But it's not a serious use knife, and it's not like super built built like a tank, but, you know, and I don't use it a whole lot because it's just in my car. But it's kind of worst case, I need to break glass, I have that with me. Now, the Microtech is what I started carrying at work, and it does have a glass breaker as well. This is the 85 version. I won't talk about that much. I'll just get into the actual Boker USB, because that's what this video is about. So this one I just got. This is basically just to mess around with at home. I don't plan on using this as hard use, because again, my Microtech is what I carry from day to day. And the rest of these I already explained. In my plate carrier, and then in my car. This knife here is kind of an imitation of a USB. It looks pretty USB-like. You know, most guys are probably going to say, oh, that's not a USB, but they probably wouldn't think it's a, you know, automatic knife. It just looks like a USB, but not quite a USB. You see what I'm saying? It's like got a lanyard loop on the back. I don't think that would fit keys very well. It would scratch up instantly. You put this on a keychain. So I didn't want to scratch this one up. That's why I'm not using it like at work or anything. That's what I'm using the Microtech for. This one I'm just playing around with at home, actuated. It's really quick on the actuation. I mean, this is stupid quick. I've never had it fail so far, and I've actuated it many, many times. You can see the Boker logo, and then the other side has like a snake. It also is a D2 steel, so that is better quality than any of these other 440 steels. These are trash, really. So this is definitely an upgrade. In terms of cost, these are about $55 plus shipping is what you can find them for. Right now on Blade HQ, they have 3 colors in stock, and they're all $55. The black, gray, and orange. They have some for pre-order, like red, blue, but they're like $65, $70, which is weird. I don't know why they're more expensive. I don't know if it's just because they're on pre-order kind of thing, and then they'll all drop to $55, because they all have the same blade. This is a drop point, I believe is what they call this, which I really wish they did a double-edged one. I thought I saw they did do a double-edged one at one point, or is it a bigger knife? They have a bigger one of these. I can't remember exactly, but most of them are drop points. But you can find ones that are in like brighter colors, and I think they do, again, I think they do, you know what, I think it's the Tanto is the blade that they do, which is kind of squared off. I like that look better than this. But this was cheap, and again, I wasn't really going to use it for serious use. It's just kind of to mess around with at the house. It's a 1.77-inch blade, so this is legal in those states like California that have a 2-inch maximum length for the blade. So this is legal in, dare I say, every state not to carry, because a lot of states do have restrictions. Like you have to have a CCW permit to carry because they consider it a weapon. I mean, screw the law if you ask me. But 27 states have constitutional carry, so I believe that in those 27 states, this would be legal to carry because it's permitless carry. The box that it comes in is pretty cool. It's got a magnet on the front, and then it's got 2 different manuals. One is actually German, and the other one is just English. So that's kind of interesting. I think Boker is a German company, if I'm not mistaken, but I believe these are made in, well, it says made in USA. So I don't know. I've heard conflicting reports. Some people said these were made in, the parts were made in Taiwan and then shipped to the U.S. to be assembled. That's what I heard one YouTuber say. Not quite sure. It says here it was designed and constructed in Germany. The knives are manufactured in Europe, the U.S., and Asia. So it's hard to say like if this is actually a U.S. one, because I bought it here in the U.S., and if you buy it in Germany, it's made in Germany. And if you buy it in Asia, it's made in Asia. I don't know. I doubt it. These are probably Asian made, and then at least the parts shipped here and maybe just quality control checked, or maybe at the most assembled. But I doubt they're actually made in the U.S., considering they're not that expensive. It is anodized aluminum, very small. Compare it to like an Ultratech, or sorry, not an Ultratech. This is a UTX 85. Bit shorter. The blade is pretty drastic on the difference of the blade. So this is the one I started carrying daily. I did get a chip in the blade, and that really is pissing me off considering it's a very tiny nick. And I contacted Microtech to see if they can do anything for me, because they supposedly have a lifetime warranty, but I think it's kind of BS, to be honest. But they they told me to put in a ticket, and they might just do a blade sharpening and be able to get rid of the actual chip there, because it is a tiny chip. But through the email, it seemed like the only thing they replace is like springs, and then you can send them in, they can clean them for you and then sharpen them. Like, that's a free service, I guess. But it sounded like they don't really want to replace the blade. Like, on very rare circumstances would they do that. If it's chipped, they're just like, oh, we'll sharpen it and try to get rid of the chip. And I bet that would work, honestly, if they filed it back enough. I just have a basic-ass file, and it did not work. It did not get rid of the chip. There's like even a smaller chip down here, right here, and then there's a bigger one up here, but they're both really small. So I imagine I can get that fixed by just sending it in, but at the same time, I imagine it's probably going to happen again. I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest, because these were highly, people rant and rave about how good these are, and it's a M390 steel. I thought this was supposed to be very, very strong. I expected to get scratches on the anodized handle, and that's normal, and even scratches on the blade. But for it to chip already, even a small amount, that seems crazy to me. So I'm a little bit disappointed, honestly, with what I got here, considering I spent $265 for that. This one right here was $65 plus shipping. So, good knife. I definitely recommend it. I'm not going to do any cutting tests or anything. Other reviewers will do stuff like that. Just, it is D2 steel, know that. I think D2 steel is on knives anywhere from $50 to $100, maybe 120 even. Some knives will come with that. It is a step up from 440 steel, but it's not quite some of the steels. There's lots of many steels that are used in the process of knife making, so there's a lot of options, but this is actually on the good side. I also do like the knife. It's like kind of a battle worn, honestly. I forget what they call that. It's just kind of naturally matte finish, so it looks good. So again, this is just to actuate here at the house, just mess around with it. It's like an adult fidget spinner, if you will. Very easy to actuate. So one of my friends saw it, and he said, I have to get one. So actually a coworker, but he wants one now. Anyways, thank you for watching. I just wanted to do kind of short video on the Boker USB knife. But great knife, highly recommend it. Is it a hard use knife? Probably not. You may want to just keep this in your car, keep it on your keys, in your back pocket, like a little small knife that, people are going to be like, whoa, that's cool. You know what I mean? That's really cool, because a lot of people don't see automatic knives. Even when I went to work with my UTX 85, people were like, whoa, that's sick, and let me try it. So people will be enthused. Of course, people ask, is that legal? And if it is, then tell them that. If it's not, then lie to them and tell them it is. I don't know. Use your discretion there. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.